Karen Barad's Meeting the Universe Halfway, Quantum Physics and the Entanglement of Matter and Meaning, 2007, represents a profound rethinking of the relationship between the material and the discursive, between nature and culture, and between science and philosophy. Drawing heavily from quantum physics, feminist theory, and post-structuralist thought, Barad advances what she terms agential realism, a theoretical framework that challenges conventional dichotomies and reorients our understanding of causality, agency, and ethics in the material world. The work is notable for its ambitious synthesis of physics and critical theory, offering both a conceptual and methodological intervention in multiple fields. At the heart of Barad's project is the critique of representationalism, the idea that language or thought simply mirrors a pre-existing, independently existing reality. Traditional epistemologies often assume a clear separation between the observer and the observed, and between concepts and objects. Barad challenges this by drawing on insights from Niels Bohr's interpretation of quantum mechanics, which suggests that phenomena cannot be understood independently of the experimental apparatus through which they are measured. In other words, the properties of quantum entities do not pre-exist observation in a determinate form. Rather, they emerge through interactions. This leads Barad to propose a radically relational ontology in which objects, phenomena, and agents do not exist as self-contained entities, but rather emerge through intra-actions, her neologism for the mutual constitution of entities. Unlike interaction, which presupposes independently existing entities that come together, intra-action emphasizes the co-constitution of relata, showing that agency is not a property of individuals, but emerges in the relational entanglement itself. This insight leads directly to the core concept of agential realism. For Barad, knowing is inseparable from doing. Epistemology is not distinct from ontology, and understanding is always situated within specific material discursive practices. She proposes that scientific practices, far from being neutral or merely descriptive, are performative. They actively participate in the making of the world. Scientific experiments, she argues, do not simply reveal pre-existing properties, but rather enact particular realities through the specific apparatuses employed. This notion of phenomena as the primary ontological units disrupts the conventional separation between reality and knowledge, materiality and meaning, and challenges assumptions about human-centered agency. The world is not a backdrop to human action. Rather, humans and non-humans are entangled in networks of agency, making ethical and political responsibility a matter of acknowledging the consequences of these interactions. Barad situates her work within feminist theory, particularly critiquing the objectivist epistemologies of classical physics, which she sees as grounded in assumptions of determinacy, independence, and human-centered observation. Drawing on feminist critiques of science, Barad extends this critique beyond a sociological or cultural analysis of scientific practices. She argues that the very nature of reality is inseparable from the apparatuses of measurement and observation. In doing so, she bridges feminist concerns about epistemic authority and inclusivity with a deep engagement with physics, proposing that both the social and the natural worlds are fundamentally entangled. This connection enables Barad to articulate a vision of ethico onto epistemology, where ethics, ontology, and epistemology are inseparable and co-constitutive. Ethical responsibility for Barad emerges not only in human interactions, but in the broader material discursive entanglements in which humans participate. One of the most innovative aspects of Meeting the Universe Halfway is its conceptualization of causality. Conventional models of cause and effect often presuppose linearity, separability, and temporal sequence. Barad, drawing on quantum theory, disrupts these assumptions by proposing that causality is relational, context-dependent, and emergent. In quantum phenomena, properties such as position and momentum do not exist independently, but are defined relationally, contingent upon measurement and interaction. This challenges classical metaphysical assumptions about the world as composed of independent substances with intrinsic properties. By emphasizing the performative nature of measurement and the relational emergence of properties, Barad destabilizes fixed hierarchies between matter and meaning, human and non-human, observer and observed. Her work implies a flattening of ontological hierarchies, insisting that agency is distributed across a network of relations, and that responsibility is not merely human-centered. Barad Barad also engages extensively with philosophical predecessors, including Michel Foucault, Jacques Derrida, and Donna Haraway. From Foucault, she inherits a sensitivity to the entanglement of knowledge and power, though she relocates this insight into the material world, emphasizing the role of non-human agencies. From Derrida, she draws an appreciation for the instability and contextuality of meaning, though she critiques deconstruction for neglecting the materiality of the world. Haraway's concept of the cyborg and the blurring of boundaries between human, animal, and machine is particularly resonant, providing a framework for thinking about the ethical and political consequences of entanglement. In synthesizing these influences with Bohrian physics, Barad produces a distinctive framework that challenges the dualisms underlying much of Western thought: nature, culture, subject, object, matter, meaning, human, non-human. Methodologically, Barad's work has broad implications for research across disciplines. Agential realism suggests that researchers must attend not only to discourse, but also to the material arrangements through which knowledge and reality are co-constituted. This has been particularly influential in science and technology studies, STS, feminist studies, environmental humanities, and anthropology. For example, research informed by agential realism might analyze laboratory practices not merely as socially constructed sites of knowledge, but as performative enactments of reality, where both human and non-human actors play constitutive roles. Similarly, in environmental studies, this perspective encourages a recognition of non-human agency in ecosystems and technologies, reframing responsibility and ethics in terms of entanglement rather than human mastery. Barad's philosophical intervention also extends to ethics and politics. By framing the world as constituted through interactions, she challenges anthropocentric assumptions of moral responsibility. Ethical engagement in Barad's framework is not about applying pre-given principles to a pre-existing world. It is about acknowledging and responding to the relational entanglements in which we are implicated. This vision of ethics is deeply ecological and relational, emphasizing accountability, responsiveness, and attention to consequences within networks of material discursive entanglement. In this sense, agential realism is not merely a theoretical framework, but a guide for ethical praxis, urging scholars, scientists, and citizens to recognize their entangled roles in shaping the world. One critique of Barad's work is that its highly abstract and technical language can be challenging for readers not already versed in quantum physics or post-structuralist theory. Her neologisms, such as intraaction and agential realism, require careful unpacking, and the dense theoretical layering may obscure practical implications for some audiences. However, this complexity is also a strength, as it enables her to articulate a rigorous and nuanced account of reality that transcends simplistic dichotomies. By situating feminist theory, philosophy, and physics in conversation, Barad opens up new avenues for interdisciplinary thought, creating a framework capable of addressing questions as diverse as scientific knowledge production, environmental ethics, and social justice. In summary, Karen Barad's Meeting the Universe Halfway is a landmark work that reconceptualizes the relationship between matter, meaning, and agency. Through the development of agential realism, Barad challenges traditional epistemologies, ontologies, and ethical frameworks, offering a vision of reality as fundamentally relational, performative, and entangled. By integrating quantum physics with feminist and post-structuralist theory, she demonstrates that scientific practices are not neutral mirrors of reality, but active participants in the co-constitution of phenomena. Her emphasis on interaction, relational causality, and ethico-onto epistemology provides a robust framework for thinking about knowledge, ethics, and responsibility in a world of complex entanglements. Beyond its theoretical contributions, the work carries significant practical implications for research methodology, environmental ethics, and the politics of knowledge production, emphasizing the inseparability of human and non-human agencies in shaping the universe we inhabit. Barad's contribution is both conceptual and ethical. Conceptually, she destabilizes entrenched dualisms and reconceives the nature of agency, causality, and reality itself. Ethically, she compels us to reconsider the consequences of our actions, both human and non-human, emphasizing the responsibilities inherent in our entangled existence. Meeting the Universe Halfway thus stands as a profound intervention at the intersection of science, philosophy, and critical theory, providing tools for thinking differently about the world and our place within it. It challenges scholars across disciplines to recognize the co-constitutive nature of reality and to approach knowledge, ethics, and materiality in a holistic, relational, and responsible manner. In conclusion, Barad's work remains a touchstone for scholars interested in bridging the natural and social sciences, rethinking causality and agency, and exploring the ethical implications of entanglement. It invites a reconsideration of the universe not as a collection of discrete objects, but as a network of interdependent phenomena where knowledge, matter, and ethics are inseparable. By proposing that humans meet the universe halfway, Barad envisions a radical openness to relationality, accountability, and the ongoing co-creation of reality, an enduring theoretical and ethical challenge for the 21st century.